Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I'm excited about this topic today. And the title of this live is Overwhelmed, Overworked, Undervalued, Be the Change. So I wanted to do this live. It's going to be a tough live for those of you who have been complaining, right? Those of you who know that your skills, your talents are worth so much more. Those of you who've been tolerating what you don't deserve. Let's say maybe being undercompensated, being demoted, having been let go, realizing that after putting in 10, 20, and 30 years of experience, you look at where you are now and you say, how is that possible? This is going to be for you. Let me make sure everybody can see this. I want to share this on my platforms because it's going to be a good one. And I invite you, once you see this live, that if it resonates with you, if this topic resonates, I want you to also be a great friend and share or tag a friend who's been undervalued, overworked, okay, and who is overwhelmed right now, but smart and sharp, fully capable, tons of talent, uh, credentials all over the place, and yet finding themselves feeling for the very first time uncertain and uncertain about their next level. So I just want to make sure everybody can see this because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a tough live. And every now and again I'll do a live and I'm just going to speak to you directly and from my heart. I've got a couple of notes, 3 words. Okay, 3 words: overwhelmed, overworked, and undervalued, because I have been reading in the news, like many of you, what has been going on with so many women. Over 600,000 women of color have lost their high income, multiple six-figure jobs. Okay, since 2024, over half of that demographic are federal workers. And I thought it was really important just to talk about being overwhelmed, being overworked, and being undervalued. And I want to tell you the truth, right? And it's not really what you talk about, it's what you do with what you're feeling that's going to create the change. You can talk about being overworked, you can talk about being undervalued, but if you continue to show up exactly the same way, meaning accepting the exact same conditions, then nothing's going to change. And this is true. If you keep charging the same prices, because what I see is that women who are now venturing into entrepreneurship who have had some trauma of the impact of being let go or operating from a place of fear, many of them have decided to forget all about all they bring to the table. So the beta testing, the prices are too low, and they aren't showing up like the giants that they are. And I told you, I'm going to keep this 100%. And this is not going to be the live for anyone that's making an excuse. This is going to be the live for the person who will identify herself right here, what I'm saying, and understand that you've been making yourself available to everyone else except yourself. And as long as you do that, nothing is going to change. Not one thing. At some point, you have to become the change that you want. It's just that. It's just that. Okay. And I promise you, I've worked from home for 20 plus years. I've had the great fortune to work with women who have had to navigate layoffs, who've had to navigate demotions, who have attracted the wrong audience because their belief in themselves wasn't where it needed to be. And as a result of that, they couldn't show up with messaging to attract the right people, despite having, tons of degrees, PhDs, MDs, JDs, etc. Despite having certification, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of experience, despite being the most credible person in their workplace, they decided, those individuals, that instead of showing up and owning what was great about them, that they would start from the smallest space in starting their own businesses. Many of them have decided they're going to just beta test or do things for free or sell something for free 99 or $97 or 497, because what we don't understand is the injury that happens to confident, incredible women when someone says, pulls the rug out right under you when you have been coasting on external validation. And I've said this for years. I told you it's a tough life. That validation is for parking lots. It's not for you. You know you're good, okay? And the thing is, you don't need any external validation in order for you to launch big. I've been helping women package the giganticness of themselves to really be able to see and own the things that they do exceptionally well and to become comfortable with it. And I want to talk about that for a second, because over the last 20 years, I've worked with thousands of women, hundreds of women I've coached personally, close to 800 women. And all of the women that I work with are smart and sharp, fully capable. They create incredible results. They're highly credentialed individuals. They're investment minded. They're action takers. They've been the leaders. Okay. And I have watched a number of things happen in the last year and a half, I would say the most that I've seen it. I have watched so many women who had a voice lose their voice because of something external. Does that make sense? And let me explain the two ways that I've seen it. I'm sure the people have seen it in many ways. One is if in their workplace they've been let go, or they are afraid to be all of themselves in this season because they're afraid, they see the volatility in the workplace and they're like, I need this. Okay. And as a result of it, they haven't been showing up tall for themselves because of fear. Right. And it's a very real thing. I hear you. The other way that I've seen them losing their voice is, this is the first time I've ever worked with women who want to build out their own frameworks, their own methods. They want to launch something big, but they are voiceless. They have decided that LLMs, i.e., ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of these systems they're using, that voice is greater than the one that's within them. All of their years of experience. These are women that have always been certain. In this moment, it's the first time I've ever seen individuals be so uncertain. And women who are truly smart and accomplished individuals. So you're the person that everyone calls when something or someone needs something solved. They call you. Okay. And you are the person who knows how to create the strategy, fix the problem, lead the team. It's you. Okay. You're the one, right? You're the person that calms all the crisis, and you're the person that they can rely on to get the results. And this is the very first time in many cases that you feel uncertain. And I want you to understand that the symptoms of what it looks like, this live is about these three things, okay? Accomplished women feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and undervalued, because it is something that I have seen in a way that I've never seen before. And I wanted to call it out because it's time to stop it, okay? Um, but when it comes to putting together your same level of brilliance for yourself, you've been hesitating. You've been overthinking, right? You're waiting to feel more ready, right? You've got time for everyone else's strategy, everyone else's growth, everyone else's elevation, except your own. Hear me on this. I hear this so much that I could play it and it'd be a best-selling record. And it's time to stop it. I'm just telling you. And you keep giving your best thinking, your best thinking to a company, to an organization, to clients, or to people that may never compensate you according to the value you actually create. And I want you to know you have to be the change. And then when that happens, that's when you say, I feel so undervalued. Of course you do, right? But here is the question. that I want you to answer honestly. And you might want to take something out and write this down. What are you doing about it? Write it down. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about how you're feeling? Not regurgitating the feeling, not calling your best friends up and talking about it, not news story after news story after news story, regurgitating the thing. What are you doing about it? Because being undervalued is not about somebody else refusing to see your value. Sometimes it's about the conditions that you accept. It's what you are agreeing to. And I told you, if you're just joining me today, it's going to be a tough live because I'm just trying to reach you, shake your shoulders, okay, before I go in my yard and pull some weeds, okay, and on this beautiful day. It's about the prices that you keep accepting. It's about the expertise you continue to give away for free over and over again. I'll talk to someone highly accomplished and they'll say, look, I'm starting my own coaching business. And I've already had some clients and said, tell me, what does it look like? And they tell me what it looks like. And the only thing that's happening is that there is real results that have happened, but there's not real revenue that has translated for you. Y'all know I'm telling you the truth. It's about the conversations often that you're afraid to have. And I'm going to break that down. The conversation you're afraid to have. What does that look like to me? It looks like, you need support. You need some help. You need accountability. But the conversation you don't want to have is around standing your value, making a high level investment in yourself the first time, getting the full solution, and doing the work. That's the conversation you don't want to have. Okay, you might want to talk about everything else, the ideas you have, what it could look like, this thing you've been thinking about, journaling about. But the conversation that you don't want to have is being accountable to that dream, one, with your money, right? By making an investment at a high level in yourself in a full solution. Know it. Okay. And I say this because there are two types of women that I have had the privilege to work with. They're the women that they are seekers of the next level, and they proactively seek that. That means that they're the ones that are writing me, they're the ones that are calling me, they're the ones that, I was just on the phone with someone the other day and she's like, let me give you my card. And I was like, I don't take cards over the phone, I send you a contract and we can go from there. But she's proactive, she's ready. Then you have the woman that absolutely needs the support and she's afraid to talk about money, and guess what, she isn't making the money. Okay, because she's afraid to talk about that thing. You need to have conversations around the things that make you uncomfortable. I'm just breaking this all the way down. My only goal here is if this shakes the shoulders of one person who's dealing with this, who's dealing with feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and undervalued, then I've done my job. So you cannot wait for people who benefit from your underpricing, your overworking, or your overgiving to tell you it's time to change. They may never tell you, and likely they're not, because they're the benefactors of you not standing in your value. You have to decide. You have to decide. You have to decide that your experience has value. You have to decide that the years that you've invested in your education, that has made you exceptional, that counts, that has value. You have to decide that your intellect can become an asset that pays you. Okay. And that's the shift in the mentality that those individuals who are standing in their value, and you're watching someone build a coaching and consulting business from scratch, and you're like, why not me? Because they're deciding differently than you. For those of you who have just joined me, I'm Mia Redrick, and today what I am speaking about are the three things that I've heard the most from so many women impacted by so many job changes, instability in the market, and that they've said these three things. They're overwhelmed, they're overworked, and they feel undervalued. And I'm breaking this live all the way down. It's a tough one today. All right. And if you've been watching my lives before and you're like, this is a little tough, just come back to another one on a different day. Okay. But I always keep it 100% because from my vantage point, I get to see both sides. I see the women who choose themselves and change their lives. And what changes their lives are their choices, their decisions, and their investments. And then I see the women who feel this way, they do nothing about it. They expect people who don't value them, in institutions that aren't valuing them. They see the writing on the wall and they refuse to change for themselves. They refuse to make a decision that can change their life. You have to decide that life does not have to be built around exhaustion. It does not have to be built around disrespect. It does not have to be built around you needing external validation or playing a smaller version of yourself to make anyone comfortable. Because I hear that all the time. I'm at work, they're using my ideas and all of these things, but I'm not getting credit. You have to decide. I would say, if you look at where you are and you see that something about the way you're operating is no longer working, but information about that without implementation, it doesn't do anything. You could know everything of like, this is happening at work and that's happening at work, or this is happening in my life, this vendor's not paying me, or these are the wrong kind of clients, or whatever it is. But it's information. It's just information. And information without implementation, what are you going to start doing differently? When will you finally package what you know? When? That's a question. Okay. When? Okay. Will you stop charging for your time? And will you start charging for the level of results and transformation that you truly create for others? Because when you decide to do that, that is when your life will change. Will you stop trying to serve everyone and instead identify the people who are ready, who are qualified, and who are willing to invest with you? But listen, it's a different conversation, because that's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, because it means that you have to change. Who are you becoming? So it doesn't, to work with people that you think will instantly say yes to you, and they're saying yes because of the terms you have are so low and the bar is so low that of course it's yes. But it's not the right client. It doesn't allow you to do your life's work, your purpose work, right? I feel like the work I do is purpose-driven work, is what I'm put here for, is call women out. And yeah, I help women package and price what they do and position themselves in their marketing and stand their value. But you know what I really do is I help them become the next version of themselves, to stop hiding, to own what's great about them. I help them to see the thing and value properly who they really are. That's what I do. Okay. And it's done through packaging and pricing, positioning. But sometimes you need someone to call you out to the BS stories you keep telling yourself over and over again. Then they're not working. And if you were waiting for that job to rescue you, you now know it's not happening. You're your rescue. Okay. Will you ask for help from someone who can see what you cannot see? Because sometimes we're standing so close to our brilliance, to our gateway of success, to our next level, that you have to have that level of mentorship. It's just you get a different perspective. To me, that's what it means to show up for yourself. It's not another affirmation. It's not another conversation about what you deserve. Okay. It's a decision. And that decision is followed by action. And a lot of times we forget that part. Like, we just want to whine, right? It's understanding that you do not change your life by repeatedly describing what is wrong. That's not how your life changes. You change your life by making a decision that the current conditions that you've accepted are no longer acceptable. And then you move accordingly. That's how you change life. I don't care what it is related to. We're talking about business and running your own business and deciding to launch your own coaching, consulting, or whatever it is, right? but this could relate to any level of high level change. That's how you go from overwhelmed to intentional. And that's how you go from overworked to being properly positioned no matter what happens. I was just telling you guys the other day, I have a client in the tech industry 6 months ago. Well, in her job, she trained the AI and AI replaced her. Almost a $200,000 salary. But you know what? She was properly positioned. She had started with me 6 months ago. And about 4 months ago, 2 months ago, she landed a $120,000 contract. She's properly positioned. So sure, was she impacted? But she put herself in a position. And I can tell you what she's not doing. She's not whining about what someone did to her. It's the greatest gift in her life. And sometimes the greatest impact, the thing that you think is negative, is the propeller, right? If you will use it, review to take flight. That's how you go from undervalued to standing in your value. You have to understand this, and I've said this for a million years. You are the first sale. You are the first sale. Before a client will invest in you, you must invest in what you know. Do you understand that you can never walk a client psychologically through a place that you have never been yourself? Imagine wanting a client to pay you 10 grand and you not being willing to invest 10 grand in yourself quickly. Come on. Okay. So sometimes the issue for those of you who are entrepreneurs is that your price is so low. The client you're working with and what you've said yes to and what your sales process is a reflection of your own beliefs, the $97 belief. But $97 is not going to change your life. If you don't have some gigantic list, if you're not like an amazing marketer, you right now with all of these years of experience could go to market in the next couple of weeks, putting together a package, leveraging what you know at a high level. And you could sell it for $5, $10, $15, $20,000 without fail. I see it all the time for women who are willing to do the work. Before someone else recognizes your value, you must stop negotiating against it. And see, that's why that $97, that $497 offer, it doesn't work, because all of those years of experience, can you imagine like all of the years of experience and you're charging somebody $497 and calling that impact? Come on. Okay. Before your circumstances change, your decisions have to change. It's a tough life. If you're getting value, be sure to share it with someone, because I want it just to keep it 100%. So here's the deal. If you know you're ready to stop talking about what you need to change and you're prepared to do something about it, I'll open my calendar for a few conversations. But listen, it is for that person. It's not that's serious, not curious. Are we clear? Okay. There are conversations for the smart, sharp woman who knows that her expertise can create significant value. And she's ready to determine how to package it, how to elevate it, how to monetize it properly. And if that's you, you can comment change. You can DM me in a private message and I'll send over a short application. We go from there. But let's talk about what moving differently can look like for you. Here's my request. This life was tough. I talked about 3 things: overwhelmed, overworked, and being undervalued. Here were the 3 things. And if that's you or it's someone you know, tag them, share this with them. Be a great friend. Great friend, share. I wanted to come here live. It was a tough live. I shook your shoulders today. But I'm on a mission, like to support women with the change, about being their own change, not about regurgitating what happened to you and why it happened. And if you got value here, I'd love your comments, of course. And just be a great friend. All right. Be kind to yourself. Don't betray, don't betray yourself. Don't betray yourself. Have a great and amazing rest of your day. Talk to you soon.
I have been working with Mia Redrick for a couple of months now. I come to this experience with a lot of education. She was speaking my language from day one. What has changed for me is with all of the education, with all of the training and workshops and private coaching and things that I've had, what I didn't have was a real understanding on how I could package these things, price them, and promote them so that I could monetize what it is that I do and what it is that I wanted to do. And now with Mia, I have an understanding of how to take my tangible and intangible gifts, talents, and skills and put those things in a package that allows me to serve other people and benefit from it.
I was stuck. I never thought of my knowledge as something that I could create it as a proprietary system. What is the value of that? For me, it is priceless. And I'm so happy I made the investment because I can now see how my business can be transformed and how I can be transformed as a result of this work. So I cannot thank Mia enough.
Before I met Mia, I was selling my product for a very, very low price, and I did not just believe in what I was worth. So I had to change my mindset. I had to change the way I thought. I had to start believing in abundance and expecting it. And so these are the things that I had to learn as Mia mentored us. Now I'm happy to say I'm selling my product for what it's worth.
Before working with Mia, I couldn't sell a $297 product. After working with Mia for about 10 months, I was pitching a $10,000 product to a company.